Hi everybody, it's Marissa MKissa for another Flosstube video. This is Flosstube number 3 and welcome back if you are a return visitor, and hi and welcome if you're new. My name is Marissa. I go by MKissaCreations on Instagram. You'll find me in a lot of places as MKissa or MKissaCreations. Just a name that's followed with me for quite a while. I am here this week to show you some of the stuff that I've accomplished in the last week, as well as let you know what some of my plans are for Stitch Maynia, Stitch Sania, since that is today. Today is Friday, May 1st, and let's get started. So last weekend was a 24 hours of cross stitch, which is a event put on by Jen Lee. There is a Facebook group for that. You just need to search 24 hours of cross stitch and you'll find it. It is like hashtag 24 hours of cross stitch. So it originally started as like a 24-hour marathon straight through, and then it evolved into I think it was just Saturday, Sunday for a little while, and then it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday to try to get the 24 hours of cross stitch in, and you can like use the whole weekend. Well, my actual weekend is Sunday, Monday from work, so it never falls right for me, and I kind of just put a little bit of effort in and make more of an effort to track my stitching on those weekends and kind of see what I can get done. So I think I got probably about 12 hours in, maybe 15. I did have some stitching meetups during that time, which was nice, and got to hang out with some friends, so that's really all that matters when it comes down to it, is doing it that as long as it makes you happy. If it stopped making you happy, then don't do it. It can't have that much pressure that you like stress out about it. So I guess that could lead into my Stitch Mania plans. My Stitch Mania plans are Stitch Sania plans. So I have decided to work on my daughter's birth sampler because she turns 3 in May. And her birth sampler is Long Dog Stitcher's Bienvenue. And I would say that I'm almost to the halfway point on it. It's, I brought this cover. I should be able to show you guys a little bit better. So that's where I am right now, almost halfway. So there, on this pattern, there are spots for the parents' initials and the grandparents' initials. And I'm still stuck trying to decide if for my mother-in-law, who's married to my father-in-law, and my initials, if I want to put like my maiden last initial or if I want to put my married last initial. There's a spot with the 2 initials together and then a spot with the 2 initials apart for the grandparents, which is perfect because my parents are separated and my husband's parents are together. So that kind of worked out pretty happily on there. But I just, and so my mom changed her name back. So that's an easy decision, but I don't know what to do about my mother-in-law's last initial and my last initial. If you have any thoughts on that, I'd appreciate hearing them. I know Amy Gable Stitcher stitched it, and it's in her Flosstube video number 3, which I'm talking about this in my Flosstube video number 3. That's fun. I commented on hers and asked her what she did, and I think she said she kept their married names for the people that were still together. So I don't know. I'm not there yet, and I can leave all that stuff empty until I get there, so till the end. So it's not that big of a deal. I'm not as worried about it. Speaking of other floss tubers, I just wanted to thank my friend Helen D, East Coast Crafter, for giving me a little shout out in her last video. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I love stitching with you on our Zooms, and I can't wait to come to your house again. I miss my stitchy friends. Sorry, I have notes. Notes are important because otherwise I'll forget things. So that's why I'm looking down. I apologize. All right, let's do my FFOs. So I did some FFOs this week, and they were all kind of new finishing styles for me and new ways to do things. So I used Vanna's tutorial and made some cording. I enlisted the help of my almost 3-year-old, and so I think the cording's a lot tighter than I would have made it if I made it myself. I also probably would have used a couple more strands of floss, but I also watched the tutorial with my 2-year-old or my 3-year-old and my almost 5-year-old as well, kind of running around, and I wasn't really paying that much attention to how many strands. I was just like watching the actual how you do it with this little thingamadoodle. I'll link Vanna's tutorial below because I am going to go back and watch it again. And I know I watched it in the past on how to do it, and it is really detailed and really easy to understand. I just was lacking in the attention giving part. You know, the end of our bargain when people put up tutorials that we have to do, which is listen and pay attention and do things the way they say so that things turn out correctly. But everything turned out awesome anyways. So I put my cording onto this guy, and it's backed with wool and then a little button to kind of come in. Do you want to focus on this? There it is. So to kind of put on the thing, this is a scrap piece of wool from Camp Wool in Kennebunk in Maine. They have a lot of wool applique projects there, and then she does carry some cross stitch, a lot of By the Bay, which if you ever want to see a By the Bay stitched up, you just walk in that door because she's got quite a few of them. She has a lot of By the Bay and a lot of more primitive style because it is with wool applique, which is a primitive style in itself. So the store is more geared towards that. She has a little bit of regular cotton fabric selection, and then full collections of Weeks and Gast normally, and I think maybe Color and Cotton, but I'm not sure. I don't know. But yeah, she has a full collection of DMC as well. So a good little shop if you are up this way. But yeah, she has a scrap fabric like stand in her back area, and it's $2 for like a little square, and some of it you can tell has been cut off old clothes, but I mean old wool clothes is where you get really cool old wool houndstooth. So I also finished this guy. Don't look at me, look at my crow. So Nevermore, and then this one is a little urn. These are both Prairie Schooler. They are singles on bigger booklets, and I think one of them's from Hocus Pocus. I think this one's from the back. No, I don't know. Maybe they're both on the back of Nevermore. They might both be on the back of Nevermore. So I only did the cording on one of them. I don't know if I'm going to do the cording on both of them or not, but I love them. They're so cute. And I didn't do the thing where you cut the hole in the back. I like sewed my top shut. Whoa, why is this hard? Okay. It's like everything else is easy. So it's not perfect, but it's fine. And now I have a couple little cuties to put in a basket around Halloween time, or I don't know, kind of with some of my other witchy stuff. I have a lot of witchy decor that just stays out year round. Okay, funny story. I have tea that I brewed right before I did this. It's steeped for long enough to drink it, and it's drinkable. I live in Maine. I'm from Southern California. I hadn't really been out of Southern California other than vacations and travel. So I never drank a lot of tea because when you make a cup of tea in Southern California, after you get water to boiling, you have to wait like 45 minutes for it to even be palatable. And I drink my coffee hot. Like, I'm not a tongue can't handle things kind of person. My husband is. He burns his tongue all the time. I don't. I'm the, like, I warn him when we're eating something together. I'm like, this is going to be too hot for you. But my tongue's not like that. But I never drank tea when I lived in Southern California because tea, boiling water to get to a point that you can drink it, it's just too long of a wait for it. Like, by the time it's ready, you don't want it anymore and you're done. So here I drink tea all the time because I can make it, let it steep for the amount of time that it's supposed to steep, and then I can drink it. Because it's just generally cooler here, even without air conditioning, without temperature controls, everything. It just, I don't know, it's just weird. It's one of those weird things. Another weird thing, everyone's gonna laugh at me for this. Please feel free. I laughed at myself afterwards when I asked the first person if it was normal. So toilet tanks, like the part behind the seat that holds the water, they sweat. Because the water that comes out of your pipes is so cold that it's like colder than the air in your house, and it sweats like an ice cold drink. Now that makes sense, but like when you live somewhere where it's like the water coming out of the ground is like so hot during the summer that sometimes like a shower doesn't even feel that great because you can't get the cold to happen. Like, I didn't know that. So if you live in Southern California and you've never lived in a cold place, and then you go somewhere cold and like someone's toilet tank looks like a like sweaty cold beverage, that's normal. That's what happens here. Is there something, have you made a big move to like a totally different climate and like found something totally weird like that you just didn't know? Totally makes sense because science, but like just, it's such like an odd, stupid little thing. Okay. That's Marissa's nutty little corner today. Welcome back to cross stitch. All right. I do have another finish. This is a Plum Street sampler project that we did in 2017, I think for Tracy P's birthday sale. And this is a free pattern on Plum Street Samplery's website. I will link you to her website. I'm not going to link directly to the free pattern because you can find it. It's on there. And I don't remember what it's called either, but you'd have to scroll through. But look, it's a little pumpkin. He's drinking all his coffee. So he's going to go live on my coffee shelf. And then on the back is some homespun that I also got from Camp Wool. And then the cording on this is like that you would buy at Joann's on the spool, and it has like a big flat part attached to it, and then you have to like finagle it in between your seams when you're sewing everything together. And right after I did it, I was like, I will never do that again. That was horrible, because it was horrible. And I didn't really think that it looked that awesome, but it does look really cool, and it like folds forward and it just sits really nicely on it, and I don't know, it just looks really cute, and I do like it. It was wretched to do, but it's cute and I like it. So these 3 little guys have been like sitting around my house, like they've made it through a move. They've been completed for 2 moves now. And I finally have them into something that can be displayed, which I'm really excited for. All right, let me scoot back to my little spot. Okay, so fully finishes Marissa's Silly Weirdo Corner, where you got to hear, I guess, how naive I was from living in Southern California. I don't know. Or temperature spoiled. You saw my plans. Oh, I was still talking about my plans and like went off on some rambly thing for Stitch Sania. Apparently it is not Sania. Okay, So I'm going to stitch the Long Dog Sampler Bienvenue on weekdays. I'm really going to try to get that finished. I really want to get it finished. My kiddo turns 3 this month, and it would be really awesome if I could finish it before her birthday, which I have like more than half of the month to do that. So I think it's possible. I don't know. I feel like I stitch faster than I used to. I can read patterns a little bit faster than I used to. So when I first started that, I had only been stitching for like a year. So I don't know. I think I can do it. But also, yeah, it might not happen, but I'm really going to try to make it happen because I want that to be done. And if I can like knock one of those big, well, it's not really that big, but like intricate whips off my whip list, I feel like really accomplished. So, sorry if I think I just knocked you. Let me put this on here. My other plan during Stitch Sania is that on the weekends, because I've been loving this and I don't want to put it away and I don't want to put it down, but I really do, my daughter turning 3 really motivates me to work on that birth sampler piece, but I just don't want to consider the lilies away. Just look. I've gotten a lot done. So I finally got the order in for the other color apples in the tree. So I'm going to stitch that this weekend because today I need to put Bienvenue into a Q-snap and stitch on that because it's a weekday. But after that, I'll be able to get back to lilies, which I think is perfect because right now I have a lot more that I like want to do to finish filling stuff out that I've started on. So one more color of the apples in the tree, and then that's also the same color as the apples in Adam and Eve's hand. And then I am ready to put in 2 other flowers into the border, which I would like to take care of before I move the Q-snap to the tree. And then we'll go forward from there. All right, let me share with you my horror story that happened with this piece while I was working on it this week. So I love my stitchy meetups, and I even think in my last video that I told you guys that I like didn't stitch this one in the beginning during my stitchy meetups online because I didn't want to mess up on the placement of anything, and that would be scary. Okay, well, so this urn right here, this whole beautiful, beautiful, beautiful portion of this pattern is on 2 page breaks. So like a page break right here and a page break like right here. I should have known. I should have stopped myself. I should have said, no, don't do that, Marissa. That's very confusing for while you're talking to a bunch of people. But I did not. So when I was counting where to put it, I already had all the words done. So I was like, okay, I will stitch from the thing behind, the place behind the R on it and the place next to the P. Well, my brain took next to the P and brought next to the P to this side of the P. And then I wasn't counting the bottom here. I just knew that I had to get to where I was decreasing everyone up, and it was when I get to 5 across, then I move on to making the urn go out. So my piece was over to this side too far and way too tall. I didn't realize it until I stitched this whole thing. When I stitched this whole thing, I got so excited that I was like, I'm gonna go over here and stitch part of the border. And I started stitching this flower and I went, it's not gonna fit. I did something really wrong. I texted my stitchy support group and let them know what I had done. And they all made me feel better. And I put my phone down and I got out my seam ripper and I tore out the whole thing. And then I restitched it like 2 days later. Because even with that horrible, horrible, horrible moment, I still cannot put this down. And it was like, if I would have like listened to my plan of like, okay, at the one next to the P and did it on the right side of the P, everything would have been fine. So it was just like, it doesn't matter that it's on a confusing corner of 4 pages, although I do think that contributed to it a little bit, but I should have paid better attention or started somewhere where I knew what was going on. But also look at this turkey. Have you seen that turkey? Look at how cute he is. I love him. This pattern's just gorgeous, you guys. It is just gorgeous. I can't stop stitching on it. I'm not going to stop stitching on it. That's why my Maynia is not a monogamous Maynia, because I can't put this down. I can't put this down. If you don't know what it looks like completed, let me show you. This is Consider the Lilies. It's by Heartstring Sampleries. Beth Twist designed this. And it is gorgeous. It is a companion piece to his Eyes on the Sparrow, which she also designed, I think 2 years ago or maybe 3 years ago. But it is beautiful. It's a large piece. My piece is stitched on a piece of what I determined to be 38 count linen that I got from the thrift store. It's like a grayish beige, and it's working out perfectly with this pattern, and I'm really happy with it. The other thing that I worked on since I've talked to you last is Hildy's Strawberry Patch by Bendy Stitchy Designs. I just keep calling it Hildy Strawberry because it's Hildy Strawberry. But so I got her ladybug done. I switched her ladybug to, I wonder if you can get a true color on that. I switched her ladybug to Turkish Red. It's pretty close. I switched her ladybug to Turkish Red. I have back stitching and Hildy to do, and the strawberries. I didn't have some of the called for flosses, and with the way Michelle designed her dress and her socks, and I just actually wanted to use the colors that she had, and I pulled flosses that I had that were sort of similar, and I just didn't like what it did. So like the gingham dress that she did, I just felt like it was important to use the colors that she designed it with. So my last 3 colors that I needed came. So I have those. Those, I placed my order at Cobweb Corner for those because I also needed glazed carrots for Consider the Lilies, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And Helen D was like, Cobweb Corner, go to Cobweb Corner, Cobweb Corner has it. And I went to Cobweb Corner, and Cobweb Corner had it. So thank you, Cobweb Corner, for coming through in the clutch, because I couldn't get my glazed carrots, and I really just wanted to have all of my flosses for Consider the Lilies. And I finally do. I have all of my flosses, which is also more motivating because that bag is a floss disaster that is like holding them in, and I'm like, I gotta put more floss into this piece so that I don't have so much floss in that bag, because it's driving me nuts. I am going to break my 2 project Maynia Sania for a new start with my friend Patty, because she has the same pattern, and we decided to do a little stitch along with each other. And I have been a slacker. I was like, let me get the fabric. I need to get the floss. And so I finally have, I got the called for Gentle Arts. Yeah, they're all Gentle Arts. I have the called for Gentle Arts now, and I have my fancy pirate ship pattern or fabric that I haven't ironed, obviously. And that is from the Primitive Hare. It's by the Primitive Hare, the pattern. It's Mermaid of Salem Bay. It is available on her Etsy, and I think needlework shops have it as well. And then her fabric, so I ordered it from her Etsy shop, and it came from someone in Texas. So she has, you know, a deal where she ships it all to one person, and then they send it out. It didn't take that long, and I have it now. So Patty and I are gonna start that I think on Sunday we're starting it. Or maybe Saturday. I don't remember which. But I knew we were on our video chat the other night and I was like, oh, I didn't realize that had fancy floss in it, because primitive hair usually charts in DMC and then maybe with 1 or 2 fancy flosses. So I didn't even look. I was just like, oh, I'll have the DMC for it, or I'll find one close. No, you need some fancy floss. So I ordered my fancy floss from the Daily Stitcher, I think at like 11 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night on Wednesday, and it came this morning. So she's fantastic. Penny at the Daily Stitcher, she's in Maine, so it comes to me the next day. I don't know. She always mails it right away though. So she gets that stuff into the mailbox so fast that, I mean, it is in my hands really quickly. Cobweb Corner was also really quick. So that was really appreciated because I was missing some key flosses for that piece, and they all came through, and now I have my stuff for Bendy's Strawberry also. And so I think hopefully I've got some more finishes ahead of me. Oh, it just reminded me that I do need to calculate my Stitch from Stash stuff. So Stitch from Stash is another Facebook group that I belong to, and you calculate your finishes into kind of credits to be used, and we do it in the form of money, though there's no real money that happens other than your own real money that you spend. You don't get any money back from the group. But this month, Stephanie talked about doing kind of a holiday for yourself and to help out stitchy shops and things like that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge myself for all the things that I've purchased for other patterns, but I think I'm going to take all of my Consider the Lilies floss off the books, and that will be my Stitch from Stash holiday, because I only run a $10 budget, so doubling my budget, even if I did it for 2 to 3 months, I don't think would make that much of a difference, as I'm just going to take those flosses off. I'll charge myself for the other flosses for my other projects, but I will be in the negative from April, but hopefully I'll be able to finish my Strawberry this month. And if I finish Bienvenue, that's a big one. It is 267 by 153. So that should, I think that goes above the normal finish grid. So that's a good chunk to have on there. Let's see, you got my plans. You know I bought awesome stuff from the Daily Stitcher and Cobweb Corner. I'll link both shops below. They both have an online shop that you can order from at like 11 o'clock at night when you do, you know, your best brain shopping. You saw my Maynia Sania plans, even though they got stretched through the whole video. So sorry if you were just here for that, but thank you for staying if you've made it this long. And you saw my whips, and you saw my FFOs. So I'm going to link you some tutorial. I'm going to link you Helen D. East Coast Crafter if you haven't seen her, but I'm assuming if you're watching me, you've seen her. And I'm going to link, let's see, Plum Street Samplery's blog too, and Amy Gable Stitcher, because she stitched that long dog sampler and was super quick and awesome and nice to me when I messaged her about my question for it. And then also, if you guys have a chance to do some stitchy meetups, jump on, even if it's just for a few minutes. It's so refreshing to just see other people that do what you do and that you share a hobby with, and that you share something in common with. No matter what, you have something in common with them. And that's all I have for today. Keep stitching, keep your chin up, keep a little hope, keep a little faith, and love each other, take care of each other, take care of yourself. Bye.